Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Alas. Welcome to the Orphic Astrology channel. Today I would like to talk about eclipse magic and taboos. The material I'm about to present, I first wrote and published a number of years ago, and then last year published onto my Substack. So this will be the video version of that. Astrologically, eclipses are luminary synchronizations that act as opening and closing doorways of destiny. Often, in order to step forward, we may be forced to leave something significant behind. And these lunations can show up as the willing or unwilling sacrifices needed to proceed through the gate leading us towards fate. The lunar nodes are the calculated points along which the moon's orbit intersects the ecliptic. So solar eclipses occur when the new moon is within 18 degrees of either node, and lunar eclipses occur when the full moon is within 18 degrees of either node. Eclipse season happens every 6 months, yielding at least 2 solar and 2 lunar eclipses per year. Approximately every 18 to 19 months, the nodal axis shifts along the zodiac in reverse, and every 18 to 19 years, one goes through their nodal return. Their association with the archetypal Dragon-Serpent swallowing the sun and moon in many traditions is rooted in connotations that heed caution. Dramatic reversals, revelations, and psychic shifts are all possible at this time, which require discernment and patience for unraveling. Now, on the topic of eclipse rituals, first of all, if you don't end up doing any rituals during an eclipse, you are not missing any magical opportunity, and it may be necessary to relinquish control and relax instead at this time. Eclipses can be emotionally and physically exhausting. Major changes are taking place across the subtle and physical planes, which require rest to integrate. Secondly, you may have heard that eclipses are not the best lunations for manifestation magic. Things tend to fall apart or not reach their fruition if commenced during the moon's alignment with the nodes, since this is when the moon is least stable. And we can say this for any lunar transit along the nodal axis, not just during eclipses. We tend to avoid elections or performing any sort of manifestation rituals when the moon is conjunct either node. And this is why. So the ascending or north node has the nature of increasing, meaning that when conjunct the fortunes, Jupiter or Venus, it increases their positive qualities. Whereas when conjunct the infortunes, Saturn or Mars, it increases their negative qualities. Likewise, the descending or south node decreases the positive effects of the benefics and the negative effects of the malefics. However, it is generally regarded as even less auspicious if the moon is conjunct within 12 degrees of the south node, since the descending node is interpreted akin to a malefic across the various traditions, especially in the Hellenistic, Persian, and Jyotish, for its ability to diminish planetary powers. And the nodes are referred to as the dragon's head for the north node and the dragon's tail for the south node. When Luna is on the nodes and eclipses occur, it is said she is passing through the dragon's lair. The moon occulting the sun or being occulted by it while transitioning from one phase to the next. Instability and even danger are more than likely present. So traditionally, eclipses were seen as moments of the usurpation of heads of state, with the sun representing kings and leaders, and the moon representing queens, but also the masses. Shifts in power, changes in leadership, revolutions, the end of an empire, and the beginning of the next are commonly tied to the luminaries' occultations. And in the Indic tradition, it reiterates this divine royal usurpation in the mythos of the Samudra Mantana, a major episode in the Puranic text that details when the Devas, or gods, and the Asuras, or anti-gods, turned the ocean of milk to extract Amrita, the elixir of immortality. While Mohini, the femme fatale avatar of Vishnu, served the Amrita to the Devas, Swarvanu, one of the Asuras, placed himself in the row of the Devas to drink the elixir. Surya, the sun, and Chandra, the moon, noticed this and notified Mohini, by which time it was too late and Swarbanu had already become immortal. So Vishnu, as Mohini, then decapitated Swarbanu, splitting his body in two, with his head being referred to as Rahu and his tail as Ketu. Within Jyotish astrology, both Rahu, the north node, and Ketu, the south node, are regarded as malefic or krura, since they are essentially the enemies of Surya, the sun, and Chandra, the moon. Eclipses are seen as moments of revenge when Rahu Ketu swallows the sun and moon, but since Rahu is without his body, the luminaries exit through his throat. Rahu Ketu are also associated with the type of difficulties in life that potentially lead one to spiritual awakening. So Rahu is considered to induce delusion and deception, or moha, while Ketu initiates a path toward liberation, or moksha. Eclipses can therefore be tied to upheavals or major changes in circumstances that usher in a shift in consciousness or awareness. Now, across cultures, the dragon-serpent is associated with significant endings and beginnings in an infinite circle of death and rebirth, mirroring the eternal movement of the soul's continuation through its cyclical transformations. Lunar eclipses, the occultation of the full moon phase, which represents culmination and release, tend to close chapters. The solar eclipses, the occultation of the new moon phase, which represents renewal and the start of a new cycle, usher in the next. While the node the eclipse is occurring on can also further indicate its nature. South node eclipses are associated with loss or decrease, while north node eclipses are associated with magnification. Changes may not be immediately noticeable, but instead are catalyzed by these events. For all these reasons, it is admonished to avoid practicing manifestation magic or initiating important plans during an eclipse. There are rituals, ceremonies, and practices associated with eclipses, but these do not involve manifesting nor initiating due to the heightened volatility of these transits. Eclipse rituals that center releasing the old or scrying, divining, self-reflection, and detoxification, cord cutting, banishing, protection, warding magic, and also appeasement of Rahu and Ketu, or the dragon's head and dragon's tail, are the most effective at this time. Collecting eclipse water for malefic or self-defense magic, or casting spells for erratic results are also possibilities that some witches are known to perform. Esoterically, eclipses have been seen as heightened moments for spiritual practice, and ascetics lean into their disciplines during these events. In many indigenous cultures, eclipses are a time for cleansing and relinquishment, and likewise, their rituals reflect this. Writing, composing, or recording music, chanting, or making noise, and any other creative rituals are also potent ways to conduct the electrifying energy of an eclipse. Most importantly, rest if you need to. Honor the needs and limits of your body and spirit. Whatever you end up doing, trust your process and have faith that what has ended is making room for greater things to come. So I hope you enjoyed this and let me know your comments. Let me know what you think. Do you practice any particular rituals during eclipse season or during eclipses? I have a few friends from Asian cultures. They have their very unique offerings for Rahu Ketu. So I would love to hear what you do, if you do anything during this time. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.